Hello. Can you hear me? I was doing so good. I was doing so good. And I screwed it all up. All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Monday. So today we got a lot to talk about. We got the fear and greed index for stocks at 53, so we're right in the neutral territory, even though we have companies like Palantir going up 7-8% already today. The crypto fear and greed index, too, is actually looking all right. It's trending down. Bitcoin has been dropping. We'll take a look at that in a second, but there's a lot more than just that going on. There's so much happening right now. We've got MicroStrategy bought, at least might have bought over the weekend. We know that they said that there needed to be more green dots on the MicroStrategy tracker. So that we should be getting news on. We've got Riot, who is doing a $500 million convertible note offering. As Michael Saylor said, they are on the Bitcoin standard. We have Amazon shareholders talking about a vote to determine whether 5% of the cash should be put into a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We've got China loosening monetary policy the most since 2008. We've got Donald Trump saying that he won't remove Jerome Powell. And we've got Anduril going public. We've got Tesla with a new car announcement. The Tesla Model Q potentially, which would be hella ironic since Tesla Q would probably be wiped out, as Holmar says, Omar up here, by this new car. And we've got NVIDIA getting investigated by the Chinese government for monopoly practices, probably retaliation for some of the talk from Donald Trump about being tough with tariffs on China. So, and then economic data is actually pretty light for the next 2 days. So, should be interesting. We could probably run the rest of the day at least. But there's a lot to talk about so far today. Doesn't look like a lot going on CNBC Squawk Box so far. It's kind of quiet on that front. But we'll jump into some of the more news-related events here, probably starting with Bitcoin. And I'll make sure to pull up chat here so that we can talk back and forth too. As usual, if you guys get any news-related events too, bring them up. Let's talk about them. I probably should. Let me go over here to Palantir real quick. I'm just gonna. So I know they got a new $37 million 1-year extension with the U.S. Special Operations Command. I'm torn here because Palantir, again, they've got the PayPal mafia pretty much in every aspect of the U.S. government, and you've got Anduril talking about doing an IPO, which is just crazy. You've got the defense sector, I think, being more required in the future, just because of, again, tensions with China are not going to get any better. But then, as I said over here, you've got us literally right above this fib on the 1.618. This is parabola phase. Like if this was Bitcoin, this would be where you started to show caution. So again, not that it can't go higher. Maybe it goes to 100. Maybe it goes to 200. The next fib is actually in the 400s. But it is strong indication that we're more likely, I think, to retrace here. And everybody will always find another reason to revise estimates higher, especially in a phase like this. But we are nearing 90 on the weekly and monthly RSI for Palantir right now. Those conditions from virtually every technical standard are stupid high. I just want to throw that out there. They're stupid high. Like, again, if this was Bitcoin stuff, I would be selling a shit ton of it. If it was Tesla, I would be selling a shit ton of it. That's just me. Could it keep going up? Could the fundamentals outpace it? Very possible. I'm just throwing out the technicals. MicroStrategy, new Bitcoin purchases. Did they announce? Have we officially gotten the announcement? Let me take a look here. It's kind of about the time they do it. Let's see. Michael Saylor, 22,500. Of course. Why not? I should probably pull up the Bitcoin chart. Where is it? Where did you see that? I don't see it from him. Oh, maybe it came from the company. Let me go back. It's probably for like a MicroStrategy announcement, maybe. Where are you seeing that? Where are you seeing the announcement? If anybody has a link, throw it out. Div, if you got a link. Okay. All right, let me just tweet this out. Crazy. 21,000 more Bitcoin like it's nothing. We're getting close to 2 years of supply that has been acquired by MicroStrategy and the ETFs alone. And just this year. From the MicroStrategy account. That makes sense. Yeah, that's crazy, guys. We'll probably get the metrics for the breakdown here shortly from Michael Saylor. And then we can check later on here to see how the charts are looking. I'm guessing it gets us closer to 2. There will be a supply shock with Bitcoin. There's just no way around it. Received my micro to macro fib mug on Friday evening. Dude, we're sporting the same mug today. Tied in with the Fibonacci sequence because I love it so much. PayPal's over 90 in pre-market. Everything is just melting up, guys. Not Bitcoin today, but that's okay. Let's take a look real quick. Actually, let's do that. Let's start off this endeavor just by running through a bunch of charts. Let's see how charts are sitting, and then we'll go into more related news. Thoughts on NVIDIA's path end of year. We should look at that chart too. We should definitely talk about that. So we could bounce right here. Again, we've got peak volume. I talked about this in a post earlier. We have peak volume over here going all the way out to here, right? So this is the highest amount of volume we've seen since about the 67 to 69 range, as far as volume peaks in just the shortest amount of time. So this thing's grinding over here. I gave some new targets today, and let me just go back here. Let me pull the bookmark up. I gave some new targets in case we drop. I don't know that we're going to. But if we do, I gave targets at least for paying members here, and I guess for you guys too. So, oh, that wasn't the one I wanted. Let me go back. This is the one I wanted. And zoom in. Okay. So if we drop under this descending trend line right here, that should act as support. Both these lines should act as support. But if they don't, the next lines are at the fib at 92K, and then down here, around the 85,000 range, and then down here around the 76, 77 range. So those are the targets in case we keep dropping further. I am going to be looking into IBIT calls to determine whether or not those are a good enough deal for me to be interested in buying them. But this morning, it looks like we have MSTU, MSTX down about 4% on average between the two, with MicroStrategy down about 2%. Again, Palantir is hitting that key fib level. Man, again, I sold too early on this one. I would not. No, nobody should be buying Baba. Jared, if you talk about buying Win, Baba, and Baidu in my chat, I'll block you. Yep, I'm gonna block you. If you talk about China, if you try and pitch China in my chat, you're gonna be gone. You'll be gone forever. You'll never talk in this chat again. So please don't do it again. Otherwise, say goodbye. All right, cool. See you, dude. 1 second, guys. We got to stop the stream for Jared. Let me just get over here real quick. Just give me a second. I want to make sure that he can't communicate with me on X anymore. And I've got to block him real quick on YouTube too. So give me a second. Sorry about that. Just 1 second. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? You guys having a good one? Ooh. All right, where's this dipshit? Jared. Fuck Jared. Bye, Jared. Go fuck yourself. Let me block him as a person, too. All right, good. All right, Jared's gone. Won't be seeing Jared anymore. Let me just get rid of the rest of his comments so nobody has to see them. Oh, Tesla 400. It looks like that's happening quick, huh? All right, yeah, let's get rid of this fucking shill. God, I hate people like this. Bye. Yep, see you, asshole. Bye, Lena. All right, cool. We're done with that bullshit. I hope BTC doesn't drop too much. I actually hope it does, but I don't think it will. I would love to see it drop into the 80s. I actually would love to get like down here at the 77-ish range. But I don't think it's going to happen. Damn, blocked just because he proposed. Yes. You want to go too, Kumar? You want to go too? Let me know. Hey, guys, here's the deal. Anybody pushing Chinese stocks on this channel's fucking gone. Every time. And if people don't like it, let me know. I'll just add you to the list here. I'll jot you guys all down, okay? Let me know. All right. What's the name of the indicator? It's the visible volume range profile. VRVP. Tesla is the hero we all need. 3 of my calls are up 1,600%. Jesse, thanks for everything. You're welcome, Dustin. Yeah, Tesla's a great stock, but let's keep rolling along here. So again, Bitcoin, could it drop more? Yes, I hope it does. That's actually what I'm looking for. So I would love to see short-term drops. I kind of hate it because I don't want to sell any Tesla at the same time, but I might. Again, I've made a decent chunk off of Tesla off my calls. And Bitcoin is the one where I think we just have a lot of runway over the next year. So I'm gonna, and don't get me wrong, I think Tesla will too. I think Tesla could double in the next year, but I think the Bitcoin investments that I have are going to give me at least a minimum of 3 to 4x. And so I kind of have to leave. I just kind of have to lean where I believe I'm going to get the greatest return. Jorge, what do you think about TSLL? I think applying leverage on TSLL right now is steep. Again, I'm not recommending options or anything for Tesla, guys. It's just it's one of those things where, yes, I was recommending them down over here, right? I was recommending them in the 230 range. I bought a lot of my options for Tesla back over in the 150s down here, right? This is where back in April of this year, I was telling everybody to buy options, and that was the appropriate time to do it, right? But it is up. What is it up right now? Tesla's up since that April comment. It's up almost 200%. So I can't tell people like, oh, hey, now is a great time to apply leverage to Tesla. It could turn out okay, but a lot of people are on this train already. And so, again, this way down here is the time to do it. When things look shitty, that's when you step in hard. Okay, you don't do it when it's up almost 200% in 6 months. That's all I can really say about that. So I don't know that I would do it. Why not sell PayPal over Tesla? PayPal hasn't jumped enough. It's got a much bigger multiplier, Benny. So if we look over here at PayPal's barely started. So Tesla up here near its all-time high. PayPal barely started. And PayPal has a much greater upside potential, especially with the options contracts. So that's why I wouldn't sell PayPal. Also, PayPal, Alex Chris just got done telling us they had a killer quarter. So I wouldn't sell PayPal right here. I might nibble off some. Don't get me wrong. I might nibble off some just to lower having to sell as much Tesla. But from an options contract standpoint, these are going to pay out way better than a Tesla one would, in my opinion. And again, if you haven't, guys, look up the options contracts for these and look at how high they can go. It's a stupid number. And again, PayPal's done all right. It hasn't done 200% though in the last 6 months. It's done like 60. So maybe 70, right? Like, let's see, what is this near? Yeah, 63%. So that is just, it's not comparable in my opinion. James has a theory about pair trading Tesla and MicroStrategy. Yeah, I mean, that arbitrage play is something I've been talking about for a while too. I think not just MicroStrategy and Tesla, but yeah, that's probably the cleanest one. But I think the Bitcoin Tesla arbitrage is going to be like a really wicked one. Did you see the info about the Model Q under 30,000? Yeah, that looks great too. And again, I'm happy about PayPal being up today. That's great. Being at 92 is wonderful. PayPal and Tesla should probably be paying out really, really well today. I got Tesla June 2025, 300 calls, up 500%. Sell 1 to 2 today to buy BTC. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. But again, not financial advice. J.I. Johnson sending me a link. Tesla plans, yep. So this is a great one. I posted this too. It's 15% smaller, 30% lighter than the Model 3. Also, they were talking about the Cybercab over the weekend, guys. One of these demonstrations they were doing, and they were saying it's going to be 50% less parts than the Model 3. And this one's going to be crazy too. Again, 15% smaller, 30% lighter than the Model 3. I would have to imagine this follows that same as the Cybercab, where it's at least a 50% part reduction versus the Model 3. I'm thinking of shorting Palantir. Good luck, Chica, bro. That thing is pretty crazy. So, could I take a look at Hood? Yeah, we can take a look at Hood real quick. We'll jump through some of the primary charts on just different things around the market here real quick, and then I think we'll go more back towards the news. So again, Hood has been crushing it. It could, so if it was Palantir, it would be at 89 right now. Actually, that's not even Palantir because Palantir overshot that goal. If it was Palantir, it would be about 277 right now. But so we've got one level up here around the 44 range where we're going to hit resistance. And then really the next one is up here at 88. That's pretty much it. So we're trying to hit some of this right now before breaking out. And then the next area is $88. I mean, it can go to it. This entire market is irrationally exuberant. I don't want to say irrationally exuberant, but let's just put it this way. We're pulling forward a lot of gains right now. The only thing that doesn't really seem to be doing that is Bitcoin right now, but it did go up 50% in the last couple of months. So I think if anything, it just kind of front ran what we're seeing in the regular markets right now. Super risky to short Palantir. Yeah, I wouldn't do any kind of naked short. The only way to short Palantir is probably going to be like some leaps, some longer dated, and you can't even go that far. Maybe like January 2026. That's probably about as far as you could go. And you might even want to see if we go a little bit higher, but you could short it from that, and you wouldn't have a lot of risk. All you'd have is what you put in. But outside of that, yeah, I wouldn't touch it. Oak. Oh, wow, you guys move fast. Good luck shorting amazing companies. Yeah, but I mean, so let's go back to that logic, Oak. Let's talk about that. Good luck shorting amazing companies. Could you have shorted Tesla over here when the PE ratio was 1,400? Could you have? I think you could have. And I think people probably did, and they probably made a lot of money. So there's a difference between, I do think it's dangerous. It is dangerous to short good companies. You're right. But when their valuation is really high, I think it becomes easier. And the PE ratio right now for Palantir is well over 400. This hasn't recalculated, but with the 7% gain this morning, it's probably like 410 or 420. So it's getting a little rich. And you probably could do that as a hedge against the downturn in the overall economy. But again, you have so many other things too. Like if we have military-related issues with China, Palantir is probably going up. So you have to think through a lot of it. There's a lot of things. It can be overvalued, and it could stay there for a while too. I do agree with this, Oak. I would much rather take like a Carvana and short that than I would a Palantir. 100%, dude. 100%. VR Japan, overcomplicating life is just boredom risk. Tesla plus some BTC-related juice is pretty good. Place to be right now. No need to day trade. Yeah, day trading is not the best thing to do for most people. Me, I'm rebalancing, and I gotta add to Bitcoin. If we drop to 80K in Bitcoin, I'm selling like 1 million of other stuff, probably Tesla, PayPal, and maybe some other things, and buying more Bitcoin related investments because it's like a no brainer. I'll be arbitraging back and forth between those all day. Jesse, when you get time, I've been wanting to ask you if this is a good entry for PayPal. PayPal calls. Is it a good entry? I don't know. Let me look real quickly and see. Let me go to the options profit calculator. I haven't looked at this in a while. I need to do like just one segment where I just go through this and start looking at options contracts for a bunch of different things. I want to look real quickly. I'm just going to look at the ones I have because I have my own self-interest at play. And again, you guys can run this yourself too. It's optionsprofitcalculator.com. I made an Options 101 video for a reason. I think it's really important to understand these tools. I'm going to be jumping out of them a lot over the next year. And if anything, I'll be hedging with options with small amounts to limit downside risk. But I will not be putting a lot into long options contracts probably. over the short term unless I see a lot of really fundamental things happen in markets and Doge is doing everything they need to do and markets are really firing off. And then it'll probably just be undervalued plays that might be pushed up. But let me look it up here. So I have January 16th, 2026 calls for $95. I bought those for $4.14, and I have 350 of them. Let's just see where this thing. So let's look at PayPal real quick. We'll just do this real fast just to get it again, just kind of give an indication of what could happen with PayPal and why I might not be super eager to sell it right now. I got to move some of these targets. The thing I hate about these targets is they're so big. They take away from the view. Let me just kill this. All right. Let me just kill all this. All right. So here's the deal with PayPal. We've got a gap all the way up over here to the 226 range. So I'm going to put that in for my target, right? I'm going to put 226 because I don't think that's crazy to believe that PayPal, given the right circumstances in the economy, could go up 140%. It is a large company. But we'll just put that in as our peak, right? 226. So let's just look at this. So I've got Tesla calls. We'll compare these to my Tesla calls. I think that's a good operation. So let's look at this, guys. This is crazy. So let's say that by some miracle, I don't sell these and these go up to 226. Wait a second. Is this still right? 350 contracts, $4.14. That is my purchase price. $145,000 worth, currently valued at $470. Okay, that's right. So if we, by some miracle, went up 140%, I would get 3,000% returns on my investment if I held them. That would be $44 million. Do you see why I might hang on to PayPal longer than my Tesla calls? Does anybody see that? Hey, Matthew, good luck, man. I don't know how you do everything you do, Mr. Smith. I don't know how. You're like the Mr. Smith from Half-Life. You just kind of come in, you're all mysterious. But good luck on your degree, and then he's helping out so much in the Discord channel. It's crazy. That's awesome, dude. But is anybody shocked by this? Anybody shocked by this? Do you guys realize the opportunity? And this, so let me change this. No, 44 million. I think it's 44 million, right? Oh, sorry, 4.4 million. Yeah, good call. Yeah, my brain isn't working. I got more caffeine today, guys. But yeah, 4 million. 4 million. So off of $144,000 investment. So this is why, thank you for helping me with basic math. Yeah, Matthew Smith is a beast. I don't know how he does it. And Matthew, how many companies do you have, LLCs? I don't know. He does a lot. He makes me feel super lazy. But again, so this thing could reap $4 million, $4.4 million in results if I didn't sell it. And just even, guys, if we just go to like just here, the $113 level on PayPal, just the $113 level, I will gain another $812,000 if we make a 30% gain over the next year. Actually, let's go over here. Let's say it happens by June, $775,000. I don't know, man. All right, we'll definitely have to give Matt Smith a gift. I don't know how much that is, but I'll look. I don't know what CHF is, but thank you very much, sir. We will make sure to get that to him. But yeah, so again, almost $1 million in gains potentially just off of PayPal here in a very short period of time, if it just hits that $115 range and goes up 30% towards this. Really high likelihood that we get up to 150. And again, 150, let's say we do that by August of this year. That is almost $2 million. Swiss francs. Whoa. Seriously, bro? Yeah, we'll make sure that gets to Matthew Smith. We'll make sure that love to pork chops. You're a stud. What the fuck? All right, Matt, it looks like you're going to have a good Christmas. We're going to need your Venmo, Matt. Because I was going to give you money too. So we'll have to stack it on top of this. All right, but yeah, so you guys could see, right? Like, this is a pretty good deal. If by August, over a very short period of time, if I make $1 million, that's great. If by August I make $2 million, roughly in profits, that's great too. And again, if it goes to the long end, 4 million is a huge number. But here's the thing: I'll be dialing out of options contract. If I get to $1 million in gains, I'll probably be dialed out of at least half of the PayPal, because again, it'll make up for all my losses. I'll still be up by about $750,000 across all my PayPal trades. And then I've got the other 50% just hanging out there ready to go. Too late to get into some PayPal calls? No, actually, this is one where I don't. Well, let me adjust. I shouldn't say that. I've got this at my cost basis. That is not the cost basis right now. So let's be real and focus on what it actually is. The cost basis now for these same calls is $13.40. And again, look at different ones, guys. Figure out what might work for you. But yeah, if you get to 150 by August, 323% gain off of 62%. So yeah, I think this is pretty good, right? I think this is pretty good. Jesse, have you done videos on your tax strategy? I haven't. I probably should. My tax strategy is pretty simple. Day trade in IRAs and tax-advantaged accounts. Buy Bitcoin and other long-term investments that you're going to hold for a long time. And hold them for at least a year. In the United States, again, I don't do a tax video because so many, maybe I should still for the US, but there's so many different jurisdictions that you guys are from, and they don't all apply, right? But in the United States, if you have long-term capital gains, it's roughly half of what you would experience for short-term capital gains. So I'm a buy and hold for a year if it's anything I'm going to hold for a period of time and it's in a regular account. And then the IRAs I day trade the shit out of. Have you done videos on how to buy options? Yes. I literally have an Options 101 video. Here, I'll give me 2 seconds and I can find it. Since there are new people here. I will throw it in chat right now. Get a viewable, shareable link. I probably need to share it over in my video. Let me go over, since you're on X. This is a different chat for you. So 1 second here, I'll plug it in. I'll plug it in the main chat too. There it is on X. And now I will just plug that in too, and both. So that is the Options 101 video where you can see more information about it, okay? All right. Let's keep moving here. What about PayPal $100, 618? Look them up yourself. The video is out there, Kumar. I talk about why I do leaps. And I don't know, 2026 worries me. I worry about 2026 because the global liquidity cycle should be coming to an end at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. And I greatly respect Michael Howell's work. And it's proven historically to be very accurate. So I think we could have some kind of downturn over that time. And I don't really want to be big on calls around that time. So to me, it might be too far out. But if the numbers look right and you still sell it earlier, then they could be all right. It's just the further you go out, the more you're paying of a premium for the time. You're paying a premium for the time. Somebody also asked me, guys, about options for, what was the other question that I was asked earlier? They said something of, oh yeah, when do you make the decision to exercise your contracts or to sell early? I almost always sell early. Watch the Options 101 video, but there's something called extrinsic and intrinsic value. So you want, the intrinsic value is going to be what it is, the actual like difference between where the price is at and where you bought the contracts at. And you basically get the difference between that, because one contract is 100 shares, right? So you get the difference. And so at the time of of delivery, when the date has come, you can, if you have the money available, you can buy. If you don't, it just gets worthless. If you can't afford to buy them, it's a worthless contract, right? Because you don't have an obligation to fulfill it. So never hold it to term if you don't have the money to buy the shit, first off. But I like the extrinsic value too. I want to capture the time-based value that's in that premium. So I will sell beforehand. Hopefully, I'll sell at the end if I really screwed up and it's still up, but there's no extrinsic value left. I would execute then. Yeah, Matthew Smith says, I've got 4 LLCs here in Texas. I've only got 2, not in Texas. 2 online businesses that provide moving and storage services to college students that live in the dorms, so they don't have to take their stuff home between semesters. I can't see those dinos, but thank you. Donation. Yeah, you got somebody just donated, if the number is right, $220. So we'll be giving that to you for Christmas here. Much love. I'll shoot you my Venmo and PayPal via DM later today. Again, thank you. I enjoy building this community for you guys. Love 2025 is going to be great for the community. Yes, sir, it will. And B, how likely would PayPal chop between year and first week of the new year before resuming growth? I think if anything, it's going to get a strong narrative, just like Palantir has a really strong narrative right now, guys. If we look over here and we look at the Palantir book or PayPal bookmarks here, you will see this. And I think this says a lot about why PayPal could have a really good first quarter. It says PayPal was the #1 most popular payment app on the iPhone on Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday in the US and Germany. Cyber Monday was our biggest day of the year so far, with approximately $7 billion in payments processed, 81,000 plus per second. More than 1.2 million small businesses had their best sales day of 2024. 100,000 small businesses plus made their first sale with PayPal, powered double-digit growth in buy now, pay later transactions compared to Cyber 5 last year, increased pay with Venmo transactions by double digits compared to Cyber 5 last year. So I'd say this is pretty crazy. Yep, MicroStrategy bought more. They got another 21,550 Bitcoin. Saylor signaled that he was going to be doing that yesterday, so it's not too much of a shock whatsoever that has happened. So yeah, PayPal, honestly, for an asymmetric bet in regard to options, is one of the best looking ones out there, I feel like, right now. Good morning, Jesse. Can you also talk about your June 2026 Tesla calls? We could look that up over here too. Again, I've sold about 35% of my position so far. I'll put this, so we'll go into the options profit calculator and we'll look at it from the same view, okay? And you'll maybe see why I'm not as bullish Tesla calls as I am PayPal. But my calls for Tesla are the June 2026 at 3:30 strike. Oh, let me see. It's not really. Let me try this again. Let me do get price here. Come on, Tesla. There we go. June 2026, 3:30. These probably have a lot of traffic. Again, watch the video, guys. You got to understand options contracts. I do not have 350. I have 130. My average strike was not 145 like it is right now. It is 42.69. And so I have $555,000 worth of contracts that are currently valued at $1.9 million. And let's look at Tesla too, because Tesla can go higher. And then once we get past this, guys, we're going to jump over. I got a couple of news things we want to look at. And again, some interesting stuff on CNBC. It looks like my 420 price target is going to happen in short order, since we're already at 400 or right above this fib right now, right near the 400 mark. But let's say I believe over this next year that there's potential of a $900 strike. I'd say 600 is more likely. 900 is like pretty highly valued. So let's calculate that into our equation. So we'll change this to $900. And so if this happens, and again, we've got more time with this one. If this happens into, let's say, December of 2025, I can get, well, this is still a 10x. This is mine though. This is my average. This isn't what you can get now. But I will have had a 10x by that point. I could still sell this and be at $6.8 million in gains. On what I have right now, I'm only at 1.3. So that's like another $5.5 million in gains that we would see Yes, saw the riot announcement too. We'll pull that up in a second as well. They basically are on the Bitcoin standard. They're doing what CleanSpark isn't. They're issuing a half a billion dollars in convertible bonds to be able to gain a bunch of wealth. And I think we'll see if CleanSpark does it. They'll be like the only company who hasn't. I think they should give the Model Q a dedicated name. I think it's the Model Q. I mean, I think that's beautiful, right, man? If the Model Q is what kills Tesla Q, if a Tesla Q kills Tesla Q, I can't think of a better, more poetic thing. But my next target, guys, is roughly 600 for Tesla, and let's say by December of next year we hit that. That would be, or the 590 range. That's roughly 3 million in gains. And if it hits the 900, again, it's closer to 7 million in gains. But I'm already up just with the holdings I haven't cashed in. I'm up 1.32 million right now. So it's a good number. But again, if let's say things get crazy, let's say we go to 500 in short order. Let's say by like March or something, we go to 500. I'll have 411% gains, 2.3 almost million in gains. So that would be roughly another million in gains from where I am right now. But if I took, let's say 50%, roughly $1 million, and put that into Bitcoin related investments that can yield me, something similar in returns, a little bit more. So we'll see. We'll see where I go. I'm just dialing in. I really believe in this MicroStrategy play. I think that in a very short order, especially if we dropped hard, I could make shit tons of money off of MicroStrategy and off of my Bitcoin related investments. But I'll be gathering cash slowly heading into the end of the year. Penina, Spolter, Jesse, do you have a video about buying leaps? Yes, I just posted it earlier in this. It's Options 101, and I talk about my strategy for how I purchase leaps. With the momentum on Tesla, I honestly think we could go to 500 by the first week of January. That's a lot, but yeah, maybe. I hope so. I'd love it. I would like for Bitcoin to falter between now and January, and Tesla to go up a lot, and PayPal to go up a lot, and then maybe nibble off some of that to buy more Bitcoin. That would be ideal. But this gives you an idea here, guys, of just some of the gains you can get. So that is pretty crazy. So I might have to reevaluate my thoughts on whether I sell a lot of Tesla soon, because again, a 24% move can bring you up a lot. Now I'm already like we're right here, right? So I'm at the 1.2 million in gains roughly. So if it goes up to 500, I would be looking at roughly another million or a doubling from where we're at right now. But again, the downside risk, if these things, the thing to remember about options, guys, is when the momentum is in your favor, they look sick and it looks like you can never lose money. When the momentum isn't in your favor, you need to lower the targets. And if you lower the targets, like this isn't going to happen for Tesla. So we're really safe here. We don't have to worry about it. But I just want to show you just as a representation. If you lower the targets and let's say things trade flat for a year, then you start losing money, and then you start losing a lot of money, and then you start losing all the money. So options are dangerous if you're all in one direction and all your bets are long and you don't have asymmetric bets in different directions. You can get royally fucked if your timing is wrong. If your thesis about the economy and what direction it's going to take is wrong, you'll be royally screwed. All right, let's see. They're doing a bunch of talking about the presidency and what's coming next. I might actually take a look here real quick. Do you think the Russell 2000 will catch a strong bid? I do. I think that we're still seeing. I think that Tom Lee is right, and small caps will do well. Maybe it's the beginning of next year. SMCI is a great company. They did a lot of the infrastructure that's built out for Tesla's new cluster is SMCI equipment. Stefan Walther, hey Jesse, I finally made the decision to buy some Bitcoin. Ordered myself a ledger. Exciting times. I don't think you'll regret it, man. And the thing to do when you buy Bitcoin, it would have been better if you did it at 15K. I'm not gonna lie, right? That would have been a much better time to buy Bitcoin. But I think we can at least double from here. I think we could 3x from here, which is 200% more in gains. And I think you need to get in because you need to understand the cycles of Bitcoin. And I do think we're at S-curve adoption where we're going to see a super cycle. And that's also a big deal. I want to go back here real quick, though. I want to go back because they've been talking for a while. They talked about Trump's golden cabinet. I want to hear this conversation about the golden cabinet. And then I want to real quickly hear some of the dialogue about not replacing Jerome Powell. Let me see here real quick. I don't care about the Mets. Here we go. All right. Oh, let me get some sound.
For those who know his design taste, that was the point.
I thought you were going back to the Hillary tape, but go ahead.
No. The Trump cabinet has more billionaires and centimillionaires than any in history, from Linda McMahon to Howard Lutnick, Doug Burnham, Stephen Feinberg, Jared Isaacman,
this guy probably hates
Kelly
that.
Loeffler. The billionaires on the official cabinet have a combined net worth of over $13 billion. That is not including Elon Musk or Trump's new billionaire ambassadors. The centimillionaires and possible billionaires, we don't know quite what they're worth, somewhere between, say, $600 to $1 billion. Scott Bessent, Dr. Oz, and Chris Wright. Now, Trump is still wealthier than any other member of his cabinet, with a current net worth of about $6.4 billion, so $4 billion of that comes from his stake in DJT. Now, the record wealth of the cabinet also creates unprecedented ethics issues and
which is not a lot, guys. Honestly, he's lost a lot of money between lawsuits and just all the stuff and the brand, just the tarnishing of the brand. Without Truth Social, without his Truth Social, he would be worth 2.4. So he has not done well over the presidency did not help him at all.
And possible divestitures. Howard Lutnick said he will step down from his 3 companies and divest shares in BCG and Newmark. Those are publicly traded. He said he won't sell those shares in the open market, so he could be transferring them to a trust. Chris Wright will have to sell about $400 million in stock of Liberty Energy. Scott Bessent will likely step down from his hedge fund. Unclear exactly what he's going to do there. Now, since Musk and Ramaswamy are not members of the cabinet, they are not bound by the same conflict of interest laws. Trump, Vance, and members of Congress are also not subject to those laws. Those go back to the Nixon administration, 1974, when they only applied to members of the cabinet.
The golden cabinet, it is pretty amazing. Right. I did see a listen.
So it depends as well as.
All right, I guess this isn't helpful. I want to see what else we have here. They're just talking shit, basically, using the word billionaire. Here's the Jerome Powell comments. Let's listen.
His post, even if you ask him to. Will you try to replace Jerome Powell?
No, I don't think so. I don't see it. But I think if I told him to, he would. But if I asked him to, he probably wouldn't. But if I told him to, he would.
You don't have plans to do that right now?
No, I don't.
That was President-elect Trump speaking with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press yesterday. Joining us right now on the Fed under President Trump is Eric Rosengren. He's former Boston Fed president, now a visiting scholar at MIT's Golub Center. And let's break that down very quickly, Eric, what you think about that conversation. Some people will say, well, he didn't promise he wasn't going to remove him. But to me, the news was really that he said, no, he doesn't have plans to do it right now. What was your take?
My take was the same, that he doesn't plan on doing it. There's a strong reason for him. One, Jay already has been lowering interest rates, which is presumably the policy that he'd prefer to see. And the second is that he doesn't have that much longer on his term. And there's no reason to get in a legal wrangle about whether the president has the power to.
Messed up on a discussion about I was wrong. I own it. Yeah, Sunhead, just tell me what your idea is. I don't know why this is
fire the
there we go.
Chair of the Federal Reserve if he's going to get to replace him anyway within a year.
Right. In terms of what the Fed is doing right now, you mentioned they're already lowering rates. The expectation is that they'll do that once again next week. But then where do you think things stand? Because there have been more questions about whether the Fed would take a much more prolonged, relaxed look at things before they decide to cut once again.
Well, this is the December meeting, so we're going to get the summary of economic projections, which is the committee's forecast for what they're going to do in the next year. In September, they were expecting 4 cuts over 2025. My own expectation is they're going to lower that probably to 2. And that's going to reflect the uncertainty about what fiscal policy is going to be in the coming year. And also that if you look at core prices, we're going to get the CPI on Wednesday, but core PCEs flattened out at a level that's a bit higher than they want. So over the last 6 months, it's been hovering around 2.7, 2.8%. The inflation target's 2%. So there's a pretty good reason for pausing, both with the fiscal uncertainty.
All right, this guy's a fucking idiot. Let's see what the chance of a pause is for December, guys. Let's look here. With the fiscal uncertainty, how likely are we to pause? 89% chance we cut rates by 25 bips. These guys are whatever. So nothing interesting on CNBC, it looks like. We'll just move on from that. All right, so again, economic calendar, super light today. We did get inflation data. Let's look. We got inflation data from Mexico. What's that look like? Inflation rate year over year for November, 4.55. Actually lower than consensus and forecast. I think that's a good sign. Core inflation rate, 3.58%, lower than consensus and forecast. So this guy is talking about how there's inflation concerns, and yet our neighbor to the south doesn't seem to see them. And then we've got an almost 90% chance of a Fed rate cut in December on the 18th. So I think that's a pretty good odds that we're going to ignore that moron and we're going to cut. So at 9 o'clock, we do have wholesale inventories. At 10, we have consumer inflation expectations. I will be gone long before that. Chinese exports tonight, imports as well. It looks like balance of trade data. That probably still will look good because I think there's a rush of people trying to avoid tariffs. We'll probably see a pretty good number for them in regard to balance of trade and exports. Maybe not imports, though. I doubt we'll see good imports. And the previous was negative 2.3. Again, they're going to be stimulating like crazy. Well, let's use that as a segue real quick. And so, again, today and tomorrow, not a ton of economic data for the United States, at least. We've got non-farm productivity tomorrow. We got unit labor costs. We got Red Book, which is retail sales data. That's all going to be good. WASD report. Like, there's really the big data comes on Wednesday. That's going to be the big data, the inflation data, the CPI, mortgage-related data, all the stuff comes Wednesday. So it's going to be a pretty light calendar between now and then. I do want to talk to China real quick because it seems like everybody's getting really pumped up about the China trade. And that worries me a lot. And there's a reason why I'm blocking people that are talking about it, because this is such a dangerous environment in China. And then you have people like this, the short bear. This guy's named the short bear. And what's he telling you? That China's going to explode higher. This guy's like the exact opposite of his name. You're not bearish enough. He said the last time when China changed the monetary policy stance to moderately loosen was during the aftermath of 2008. The Chinese market would rally triple digits over the next following year. To be clear, yes, it did move 3 digits, but they also had trillions of dollars in cash and virtually no debt. Now their debt to GDP is probably closer to 350%. Hell, it could be closer to 400 now. So this is not the same scenario. This short bear, how the hell do you call yourself the short bear? Contrarian stock trader and long-term investor. Philosophy and psychology tweets are purely, they are entertainment because you're an idiot if you're looking at China and you're not looking at the key differences between now and 2008. You're pretty much a moron. And again, so David Engels, let's look at the Bloomberg article real quick. It says China ups stimulus response, shifts monetary policy stance for the first time in 14 years, vows to stabilize both housing and stock markets. So what have they done? What have they actually done outside of vowing to do something, which they vowed to do for a very long time? Oh, this one's behind a paywall. Let me see here. We'll just, there's a way to get around this. Just give me a second. Just give me 1 second. And there we go. Boom. Problem fixed. Just 1 second. In case you guys don't know how to do this, there's a website called archive.ph. And archive.ph, oh, did I get it though? Did I get the actual archive? Oh, I don't know if I got the actual archive. Let me go back. 1 second. There we go. This should be the right one. I think I pumped in the wrong one. All right, so there's a website called archive.ph, and with it, you can do fancy stuff. You can pull up a website that's got a paywall behind it, and you might be able to read it. All right, so let's look at this real quick. I do want to understand what this article says. I have not went through it yet. Let's just read the first half.
China's top leader signaled bolder economic support next year, using the most direct language on stimulus in years, as Beijing braces for a trade war when Donald Trump takes office. President Xi Jinping's decision-making Politburo vowed to embrace a moderately loose monetary policy in 2025, signaling more rate cuts ahead and shifting from a prudent strategy that's held for 14 years. The 24-man body also vowed more proactive fiscal policy at its monthly huddle, according to the official Xinhua news agency, raising expectations for Beijing to widen the fiscal deficit from 3% at the annual parliamentary session in March. That would open the door to more central government borrowing to shore up the faltering economy. The Politburo's December meeting sent the most aggressive stimulus tone in a decade. Morgan Stanley economists, including Robin Xing, wrote in a research note, adding that, while the tone is very positive, implementation remains uncertain.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. I want to hear the rest. I want to hear the rest about what these guys, these insightful people have to say in this article. So really all we've got is we're going to do a lot in the future, and that's pretty much it.
The offshore yuan erased losses to trade 0.1% stronger on bets China's economy will recover due to monetary and fiscal stimulus. Regional currencies also got a boost from the Monday readout, with Australian dollar rising 0.3%. and New Zealand's currency trimming losses. While Politburo readouts never reveal new numerical economic targets, the vaguely worded statements give important clues on future policy. The December conclave sets the agenda for the larger Central Economic Work Conference that crafts priorities, such as the annual growth goal. That meeting is set to begin Wednesday, Bloomberg News earlier reported. Top leaders tackled nearly every major problem plaguing the economy, with direct pledges to stabilize the stock market as well as the property sector fighting a years-long slump. In a first, cadres touted extraordinary measures for counter-cyclical policy adjustment. Language analysts said could hint at greater bond issuance or a stabilization fund to support the stock market.
All right, so basically pledges, and that they need to support the stock market. And again, archive.ph, guys, if you want to be able to look at stuff like these Bloomberg and other articles, but you don't want to have to pay these stupid fees, there's ways to get around it where you can see everything you want to see. So technology is amazing. Governments just fix money problems by throwing money at it. Buy and hold BTC. So this is here's the thing. I hope they do this. I hope this is a sign of what's to come, and that we see a bunch more stimulus. Because if anything, they've been tightening. If we look at the monetary policy that they have, like if we let's hop over here. I want to see a warning message from bonds. We'll skip that one for now. I don't normally want to show much of what's going on with these guys, but let me see. I just want to see if they have any. Yeah. Net capital flows into emerging Asia, negative. So again, this is my buddy Michael Howell. And let me go back to one other one here with liquidity. I won't show you a lot of his work, but it's great work. But again, just showing weekly global liquidity being down, fairly strong. If you look down here, this is the percentage CH 3-month annual average, I think it is. And so you can see in black there where it shows global liquidity dropping. And most of that is because of what's happening in China. They've just been tightening up their market significantly. So I would love, and the shadow monetary base is pretty much the same. I would love to see this go up a lot. I would love to see them start stimulating. I actually do think it'll happen. And if it ends up happening, it'll be an awesome opportunity for Bitcoin, because most of the capital is going to be fleeing China. Bloomberg's writing these posts to get you excited about China because they want you to be exit liquidity. Same note, everyone is leaving China, I put. Rain Group plans to close its Hong Kong office and is offering the staff to relocate to Singapore, according to people knowledgeable of the matter. So this boutique bank is going to be closing down and leaving and going to Singapore. This is the trend. Also, Dan Tapiero said, could this be the most important off-the-radar macro in the world right now? China's deflating. So again, China's doing really bad, and that's going to help the United States, both for capital flows and for keeping prices down. So tomorrow's data, or tonight's data in regard to exports, imports, and balance of trade, we'll cover tomorrow. I do think it'll be very interesting to see how all that looks. I do want to jump into different topics, though, so let's keep rolling through. We're going to roll through bookmarks here. So out of China into Bitcoin. If we look here, we can see that this is the Puel multiple. It's not my favorite. I like the MRVZ score. as of late, because this one hasn't done as good of a job keeping up. You can see how the peaks are lower and lower and lower. So if anything, it's like a trend line where it's getting lower every cycle. And so, I mean, per the Puel multiple, it could be like 4. So I don't think it's the best. I think there's a lot better indicators out there, but I think that's one of them. Again, somebody was saying earlier, Riot announces proposed private offering of $500 million of convertible senior notes. Net proceedings from this offering to be used primarily to acquire Bitcoin in general and for general corporate purposes. So again, probably to enrich themselves, to be able to pay for expenses and to buy Bitcoin. It doesn't say anything specifically about expansion. So check out the press release. Again, I tweeted this earlier, but very interesting. And again, we talked about this, highlighted it briefly. It's just the shareholders request the board conduct an assessment to determine if adding Bitcoin in its company treasury is the best long-term interest for shareholders. I thought Dennis Porter had a really salient comment here. He said, Amazon should build its strategic Bitcoin reserve by allowing shoppers to pay in Bitcoin. It will make sense to give a discount to those who pay in Bitcoin. I actually think that's a really brilliant idea. If we look too and just look at the capital, again, they're talking about up to 5% of their holdings in Bitcoin is what the shareholders are asking them to review and look at. Jeff Bezos, as far as I understand it, has been buying a lot of Bitcoin too. So this is interesting. If we look at their debts are $134 billion. Their assets right now are going to be 75 billion in cash and 12 or 13 billion in bonds. If they took like even 5 billion of the cash and put it into Bitcoin, I think that would be a brilliant move by them. I don't know if it's going to happen though. Do you think the Bitcoin supply shock is inevitable? Yes. In every way. I talk about it all the time. But when you have companies, when you have pensions, when you have ETFs, when you have just the ETFs and Michael Saylor alone have bought almost 2 years worth of current supply that's going out, 450 a day on average, new Bitcoin, and they're buying well beyond that, like a multitude. So the supply shock is an inevitable number. When you have the OTC desks, basically the people who have big blocks of Bitcoin, who are getting to sell them at a premium to these desks, that only lasts so long. The amount of Bitcoin on exchanges, the amount of Bitcoins in OTC is getting lower and lower and lower, and the demand is not slowing down anytime soon. So it's going to go a lot higher. We got our first weekly and daily close above 100K yesterday. So again, we got a drop and a little bit of a swoosh down today. I should actually add this real quickly. I don't know why I don't have Bitcoin up here already. Let me do this. I'm going to move it down because it does look like we're getting a little bit of a bounce. I'm going to move it down over here, and then I'm going to add it real quickly, guys, to the feed, just so we can keep an eye on that. It's always a nice thing to keep track of. So let me do that. Just 1 second here. A little BTC up in the hizzy. There we go. And let me shrink this up a little bit to get it to where it falls into the window better. And we've got about 32 minutes, guys, until we see the market open. Palantir's still up 6%. Man, if there's ever going to be a day that Palantir actually flushes out, today would be that day. Great day to take your gains and move to other things. Muted. I was for the first second, William. So I failed on that again. I need to have a checklist. I need to have somebody standing in front of me just being like, make sure you do this stuff. My wife does that for me a lot. So that's probably going to happen. But yeah, so let me get out of here. So I do believe, so Bitcoin, again, great weekly close. Let's look at the weekly here real quick in the bottom part of the screen. So that was the weekly close, a nice bounce. Back testing now, still sitting above peak volumes again, guys. Strongest peak volumes going, I mean, they're almost stronger than what we had at 67,000 now, at least if you go back several months. So it's looking crazy on Bitcoin right now, guys. I think there's a lot of upside. I don't even know if I'm going to get an opportunity to buy the dip today. I'm okay with that. I'd like to just see my Tesla, PayPal, ARKG, DLO, Bitcoin-related investments. I want to see it all go up. Just show it all to me. Matt, I sold my initial investment in Palantir when I hit 330% profit, letting the rest run forever. Yeah, that works too. It never hurts to have a long-term strategy and just have something that you're willing to keep, especially if you made a shit ton of money and you've applied that to other places, right? That's not a bad strategy at all. Bitcoin archive. The Bitcoin cycle is remarkably similar to 2021 in both returns and days since the bottom. Bitcoin did a 3x from this point to hit 64K last time. 3x from here would be 300. I do think that's interesting. I do want to note something, though. The last cycle was neutered. It should have, I think the last cycle, guys, probably would have done like 150, 180. But it was neutered because the Fed cut rates at the most aggressive rate in history. And so instead of having this second jaunt up, we ended up getting cut off, and so did the whole stock market and all the meme coins and all the shit. And it just got in all the SPACs. Who remembers SPACs? That was a popular thing. Chamath loved SPACs. He created a bunch of them, made a ton of money off of it. But then we got crushed, right? So I actually do think he's right, because you have diminishing returns each cycle because the market is much bigger than it was before. So I do think he's right about his like 300-ish thousand range estimate. I do think that part is right. That would bring us up to this tier and maybe a little bit above it. I think 280 to 500 is my target right now. 280 to 500. That would be crazy. Chamath was being a grifter. He kind of was being a grifter, wasn't he? He was taking advantage, but you can't blame him, because then he can take that capital from dumb money and then apply it elsewhere. I wouldn't want to tarnish my brand personally, but I don't know. And I don't like people losing money, but I'm just probably different than Chamath is. He probably looks at it as, hey, if you're invested in this, you're taking risk. Prepare to lose it all. They have tons of disclaimers that went along with the SPACs. A SPAC is like it's such a mess. They do like reverse. They basically take a shitty dying company and then relabel it as this new thing a lot of the time, and then put their company out there. And it's just like some of the stuff that they did was really shady and sketchy. But anyway, I do think that we're headed for a parabolic upturn that will last into the latter part of next year, probably the fall, and that it could get us between 280 and 500. So very excited about that. Let's keep going down. Dennis Porter had a really good comment here. He said, whenever something is digitized, we completely stop using the physical analog version of it. And he talked about physical photos, CDs, maps, newspapers. Next is money. Bitcoin is digital gold. What do you think happens to physical version? I actually agree with that. I agree with it. And maybe that's a play that happens over the next 4 to 10 years, but I agree with it. Lots of people still on the sidelines right now. This comment, there might have been bot action here too, but I just wanted to note, like, the sheer amount of people I'm seeing, not just on this comment, but a bunch of others. Yes, let's go over NVIDIA. Is pretty remarkable. I see a lot of people that are putting targets of like Bitcoin going down to like 60 and 20,000. And these are people that, like, in some cases I really like them. Like, what is one of them? Luca or something? Let me see. Luca. I don't know if that's, yeah, Luca. I like this guy. I like his thought process behind a lot of stuff. And I don't know if he has it here anymore. Yeah, he does. It's still pinned here. Guys, this is not happening. This is not happening. I like this guy. He's fucking retarded right now. This is not happening. So he's saying right now that we've hit the top and that we're going down to a generational buying opportunity of 28,000. If you're following this guy for Bitcoin, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to see these numbers, and you're probably going to FOMO in at the top. So, like, yeah, I don't know what I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. I think this guy's betting against the economy and all the good things that are happening right now. And there's so many. When energy prices drop, we talked about this a little bit on Finance Junkies yesterday, but when energy prices drop, Carlos was talking about this, and I had to touch on it. With Bitcoin miners, so last quarter, they were at 60-something thousand for the results. And so if you look at the financials for all the miners, they suck. Difficulty rose a lot over 7 months, and the price didn't go anywhere. They're going to suck, right? And they're all just expanding like fucking crazy. But now, excuse me, I do have some honey in here. I didn't put it in the last batch, but now it's a completely different situation where we're seeing 100,000 and potentially could be at 150,000 by Q1. So imagine what Q1 results look like in Q2 for the miners. When the prices went from 60K to 150K or even higher. And then at the same time, if energy prices are coming down steeply, and we're seeing that, if we look at oil over here, we can see that oil is not, it's up today. It's up today off a bounce. But again, Syria just collapsed. Assad just lost his regime to a bunch of terrorists. The terrorists, though, are saying now that they're not going to do any ethnic cleansing or any of this other crazy stuff. Hopefully that's true. And they probably shouldn't, because there's a large population of Christians and other minorities there too. But we'll see what happens. But either way, it hurts Russia. Russia has two major military bases there. So Russia strategically has lost some military power. You've got a Belarus election coming up in January. Belarus is kind of like the armchair to Russia lately too. And I don't think that somebody pointed out, I don't remember who it was, but they said, hey, this might not go as well as it did with Syria for Belarus, because Belarus doesn't have any major opposition. They actually do have some. Some of them, though, are helping fight Russia in Ukraine. So I don't know if they'd go back over the border and start fighting Belarus to destabilize them. I would imagine Trump and Ukraine and Russia between Zelensky and Putin would have some kind of agreement that would keep that from happening. But what I do see is I see a greater peace being established outside of what's happening right now with China. The axis of evil just got a lot weaker. Syria was a part of it. Iran was a part of it. North Korea, China, Russia, and they just lost Syria. So, and Iran looks super weak. If you look at Hezbollah and Hamas and everybody that's been slaughtered, Iran looks like we could see them. We could see them go next, in my opinion. So, and I think Russia is going to chill out for a bit. I think it makes sense that they reach out to the West, especially Putin's boy, Donald Trump, and say, hey, what can we do to reestablish things? You got to remember, if Trump wants energy prices to go down by 50%, befriending the shit out of Russia is a great way to do that. Making it to where we're all good again, and getting them to just pump tons of oil and helping expand their operations is a great way to do that. Also, reaching out to the Saudis and being like, bros, we love you guys. Remember how Biden, talked shit about you? We're not going to do that. I mean, we don't appreciate you killing that reporter, but hey, dude, we forgot it. We're all good. They'll be doing those things. And so energy prices, because Trump's goal is energy prices go down 50% in the first year. And I think he'll accomplish it. He'll accomplish it by drill, baby, drill. He'll accomplish it by his relationship with Russia. He'll accomplish it with his relationship with Saudi Arabia. And he'll accomplish it by whatever incentives he can do, too, in the United States to increase production. And I think you'll see that. If the government is going to subsidize anything, it should be energy production. That should be it. Because the history tells us, if we look back hundreds and hundreds of years all throughout the world, that the more energy you have, the more you're going to enrich your society. And that proved out really well for China too, up until recently, from bad decisions. So I could see, back to my really long point, I could see Bitcoin miners doing really, really well if the price gets to 150K in Q1, if not sooner. And then at the same time, we see energy prices drop substantially. Just think about how well positioned the Bitcoin miners will be and how much better their financials will look. And again, FASB officially kicks in at the beginning of the year. I think all the miners are pretty much on the FASB accounting rules. I think MicroStrategy is the only group that really isn't. But a lot of positives coming from a FASB accounting rule initiative too, where it's not just voluntary, but it's going to be standardized. And so we'll see a lot of companies coming in. There's just going to be so much money coming in my opinion. Albert said, I replied that on X. Yes. Yo, it was you? Okay. Belarusians have no ability to make an insurrection like Syria scale because pro-government military has a monopoly and firepower. Yes, I agree. I think you're probably right. Pawpaw Mark, Russia's GDP is smaller than Texas's GDP. They need to chill out as they're stretched thin. They are totally. Russia is so under the nutsack of the United States right now. And Donald Trump will give him the leeway to come back to us, and Russia will take it. If Russia gained land, if they can end the war, I think everybody in Russia pretty much wants the war done too. And I would say in Ukraine it's the same way. Even though they don't want to give up land, I don't think people like watching their children die. It's just a universal thing. Young Investor Morning Team, Andy Zhao. Hey, buddy. Albert's point about Belarus is why Americans should never give up their guns. Exactly, Andy. Exactly. And one, should I add on Tesla now? I had some cash, wanted to deploy. I think Tesla is going to do really good this year, so it doesn't hurt to add on Tesla. I don't give financial advice, but again, the only reason I'm talking about doing any selling at all is I'm in options contracts that today maybe are up almost 300% at market open. So I've made a lot of money off of Tesla. And this is like my third go around in the last like 3 years on Tesla. So I've made a lot of money on Tesla. And I've got almost 2 million on it, probably over 2 million at open this morning if it's near 400. So I've done really well on Tesla, and but I still think it's great. I just wouldn't leverage into it. I personally wouldn't leverage into it right now. I wouldn't do that. Sorry, somebody wanted to talk about NVIDIA earlier. Let's do that, and then I want to get back to other points here too. But let's keep moving forward. And before I get to NVIDIA, I do want to do one thing. Let's roll through the dollar and all this stuff in the bond market. So dollar, slightly weaker today. Good stuff. Chinese yuan versus the dollar. The dollar lost some strength. That's good. That's with all this talk of money printing. I would love to see that, actually. I hope that happens. It's going to be great for all of our bags. Japan, we're seeing the dollar gain strength against Japan. Don't love that. Don't want to see the Japanese yen carry trade become an issue. Again, when is it? Actually, when is Japan's... Let me see here. When is Japan making their decisions? PPI information, I think it's the latter part of this month. But let me just look, because they have a rate decision coming up. Oh, it's the 18th. It's actually the same time. So in 10 or 9 days, Japan is going to make a choice about raising rates. And I think they're going to. If they're raising rates and we're dropping rates by 1/4 point, it's going to get weird. Jesse, I recommend watching YouTube channel 1420. The dude is traveling all over Russia and takes it. Oh, yeah. I do watch those guys, actually. Is that the blonde dude? He's great. He's a ballsy fucker, man. Like... And that's one of the reasons why I knew that Russia wasn't as bad and as authoritarian as, like, they're bad. Putin's bad. But they weren't like the level of China, because you still have somebody running around interviewing people, asking questions that sometimes directly oppose the Russian government, and not getting arrested. But yeah, that kid was kick ass. He's young, right? Like early 20s. Let me know. Wealthy Beaver, can you check out W-Day S&P 500 inclusion? Maybe you can identify some price targets. Yeah, I can try and look at that. But yeah, let's get over to NVIDIA though. After, sorry, we check out the bonds. Yeah, that's not gonna. The problem is the majority, if you took that same poll, Albert, in Ukraine, and you did it on the eastern side of the country, like around Crimea and these other areas, the vast majority of the people would say that they wanted the war to end. And again, if we did like some UN polling, make sure it's down the middle, make sure, there's international bodies making sure that they're accurate, you would see that the right-hand side of Ukraine wants to leave and join Russia. That would be my take. That was my take before the war, because that's what the numbers reflected in their last votes. The vast majority of these people didn't want to be there. So you kind of have to respect the thoughts of the people. And I think the ones that want to continue the war are probably all over on the left side of the country, in Kiev and places like that. The MOVE index. So again, we're still falling, guys. This tweezer is sick, absolutely sick. So bond volatility is through the floor right now. Absolutely none to speak of. I think that's really good for our markets, and I think it continues to push us higher. The VIX, and if anything pushes Palantir higher, it's just going to be everything melting up still. VIX, we see a little bit of a spike today, but again, largest VIX crush in history. Also a good sign. Let's look at the 2-year. 2 years up 0.34% today. Again, though, it rejected off the 50, and it's trying to find support on this green level where I showed that it was support over here, then it was resistance, then it was support, then it was resistance. Now it's trying to find support on it, but it crept underneath of it. I think it's going to drop underneath, and it's going to continue to fall. I think the 10-year probably looks the same way. Let's look at the inversion real quick here. The inversion, I have switched this to the 10-year and 3-month, and again, it's underneath, broke back down. The uninversion is not happening yet, so I think we're sitting good on this. Let's look at the 10-year. The 10-year is the one that tracks closest to mortgage rates. So let's see if it's ticking up or going down or what it's doing. 0.65%, but again, really clear rejection here though off of the 4.48. So now down to 4.2. I do think we'll reject underneath here and drop under the 100, get under all the moving averages and keep going down. Again, we've got bearish divergence that's formed on this since May of 2022. So rates are set to come down. As that happens, again, real estate, everything goes up. Stefan, apparently there are more people in prison in the UK for stuff they posted online than there are political prisoners in Russia. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? The final countdown, like Johnny Somalia. Albert, yes, he's young. I'm also super surprised that he wasn't arrested yet. Yeah, so I mean, that tells you that maybe Russia isn't as bad as the UK, which is crazy to think of. It's actually kind of nice. That one could be better than the other. All right, NVIDIA, I promised you. Let's get over. Let's look at chips. Yeah, boy, this doesn't look great, does it? This is what I don't like about NVIDIA. And so let's just bring this down. So like, we'll bring it down to here. So this is, NVIDIA pretty much is doomed to fall, I think, the way we're starting to set up on this. So we've got the monopoly concerns. We've got a rising, broadening wedge. We've got a lower high. We've got a lower low. And then now we're starting to trend down. We're sitting right here. So I don't know. What's the measured move on this? And then we'll just see if it makes sense and line it up with other technicals. That seems too low. That seems way too low. But I don't know. At least to the 130 range I could see, or at least double back testing to the .618. I just think that NVIDIA is so huge. It's still $3.5 trillion, maybe slightly less today. I can't call this down here, though. I'll call it maybe like to here. Maybe something like that. That just seems too low. But again, it's one of those things with NVIDIA. It's like the 169 range. Yeah, it can get there. It can get there. That's, what is that though? 21% higher than today. Doesn't get it quite to 4 trillion. But you just get to, the law of large numbers is so high on NVIDIA. The risk to reward isn't that great. And so why would people get super excited about NVIDIA and want to go in and buy it? And again, let me just check. Is that the measured? I probably should zoom out more here. No, it's just a stupid number. Let's see, right about, we'll say there to there. Yeah, so I guess it is close to this dot. It's close to like this next fib level, the 124 range, and then 122, where you have peak volumes going back. It looks like a long ways. This red line is the peak volume coming from the visible range volume profile. And it looks like we got to go back to beginning of the year to see larger volumes. So, I don't know. This might be like a pretty decent place to stop. Again, it could stop here, though. It doesn't have to go down. It's a large company. It's a massive part of the S&P. Let's just see this, though. I probably need to adjust this, too, because trend line support, guys, this is it, right? So trend line support is right here. And we'll probably draw it high. But, so I don't know. Is it possible that we test to the 120s or even the 118 range? I mean, maybe. Again, there's just not a lot of upside here. 20% isn't dick. 20% up, 20% down. I mean, that seems about right. Altcoins are looking strong today. Let's take a look. Where are my altcoins at? Where are my altcoins at? Where my crypto bubble at? I lost my crypto bubble. Oh, I found it. It's over here. All right, let's bring this over here and look at the altcoins. Yeah, the month is good. Let's go to the day. The day is not actually that great. They've been feeling pressure today, so this is the first time in a while. So I would say altcoins are losing a little bit of strength today. Let's actually take a look real quick here. So we got about 12 minutes, guys, 11 minutes till market open. Let's look at BTC dominance. Yeah, okay, I did say that. Okay, BTC dominance. So BTC dominance has actually started to get closer to that previous level. It's right at it. It's right underneath it. Kind of right underneath it. So it's still probably technically resistance. Yeah, that looks about right. So it's not quite above it yet, but maybe we trade down. Like, honestly, we're probably going to cascade. Everything tells me we're going to cascade. All of the history of Bitcoin tells me it's going to cascade, because look at this. Look at this. This is what happens when the bull cycle really kicks in. We're going down. So we'll probably still do that. And again, bearish divergence going back to September of 2023. So I would say altcoins will do better. They'll still do good. I'm selling some NVIDIA to buy MSTU today, but I got to say, all this talk on XAI and Meta building supercomputers with millions of chips is so bullish. I do agree, too. I know the fundamentals really don't. Outside of the valuation, NVIDIA has a stupid high valuation, too. But it could continue if Blackwell does really well. The problem is Blackwell's had like heating issues, and but again, what was the net income last quarter for NVIDIA? Almost $20 billion. And look at their cash position. If any company should be taking cash and putting it into Bitcoin, it's NVIDIA, in my opinion. But their operating leverage is screaming higher. From a financials and fundamentals standpoint, this company looks sick. The PE is only 56. The forward is only 34. I don't know, man. Even though the technicals look like it wants to pull it down, I'm going to take this away. I still don't think we can do it. The only thing that I think could limit upside on this is just simply that it's done so well. But if you look at Palantir, you can see the same kind of broadening. Like let's look at Palantir. It did the same thing. It did the same thing, and it continued to go up. So maybe that's what happens. Maybe the technicals, fuck the technicals, right? Because right here, look at this. This is a rising, broadening wedge, and it blew up through it. So I don't know, but again, it's the upside. The thing that really matters about NVIDIA is, what do you think it's going to do? Do you think it's going to go up 20%, or do you think with MSTX you could make 100% in a month? So like 20%, 100%. I don't know. Man. I don't know. This is Sparta, PayPal pumping this morning. Ooh, glad to hear it. Hey, let's look at some of that. We haven't really done that, have we? Let's look over here and see how things are doing. It looks like crypto's starting to recover a little bit. Flux, Riot's down. Mara's down. Riot really taking the biggest hit because of the convertible bond offering. It seems like people are penalizing them for that as of late. But again, I think with FASB accounting rules kicking in, I think that's going to benefit them heading into next year. I should probably confirm some of that. Baba at the top of the list. Ugh, the Chinese shit. I'd rather see Palantir crushing it. Palantir retracing a little bit from, again, that next fib level. Biddy, that's the short Bitcoin fund. Tesla up 2%, loving that. ARKG up, it's ARKG's turn. DLO up, it's DLO's turn. Argentina's up, uranium's up, iron's up. HIMS, Meta. Yeah, looks pretty good so far today. Looks like, I think some of the miners and even MicroStrategy could turn around too. I don't know. I might just sit on my hands today. Yeah, convertible notes is turning into a sell the news, I think. Short term, I think that's true. But I think for anybody who's paying attention to FASB accounting rules, having a bunch of, I don't know, I think having a bunch of Bitcoin on your balance sheet is probably going to turn out to be really good. Hey, Jesse, can you look at SoFi? Sure. Sorry, somebody asked earlier. And I got more news to get through. I never get to the Tesla news. I want to go over more of that too. So SoFi, again, had a wicked run. It could still go higher. We do have resistance, though. We're hitting all this, guys. If there's a place where we take a break, it's here. We could even make it up to 20 before cracking higher. I don't know which way it's going to go. I know the banking sector is going to benefit, though. Over the short term, anything can happen. We can retrace more. But I know the banking sector is going to benefit a lot from lowered interest rates and just the market opening up. So I think that SoFi could still go up. I think it's probably going to be temporary. But again, wicked run. What did we go up? Almost 200%, 176% from whatever this is over here. I don't know. Let me move this stupid bar so I can see. From July, August, I'm sorry. So 200% gain since August. So it could take a breather. It could take a breather. DLO, I really like DLO right now. We'll see. It's Latin America, so we'll have to see how well the Latin American and like emerging markets do. But the valuation, I think, is really cheap. It looks like it's having a curving moment. We've got a gap over here that brings us up to around 13. So that's a pretty large gap. We got another large gap over here at 44. So if this thing really takes off, I think it could go to 44. But I think that gap's going to close fairly soon. And again, we've got a downtrend, guys, that goes back a ways here. I need to get all this crap off my... I hate it when these things are on my screen. It's like I need to... Do I just... Oh, there we go. So we got a gap up here. When we gap up to close this gap, we're also sitting on a trend line that we're really close to breaking out of that goes back to August of 2023. So we've got, a 14-month, 15-month trend line. And if we break through that, I mean, it's an easy run into the 20s, 24. That would be a 100% move. I can't imagine what my options would do. My options right now, guys, I'm in the money. What the fuck? I'm in the money on DLO. All right, let me just look at this real quick. This is crazy. So DLO right here, guys, I'm up 9% on that trade where I was down like 60 to 70%. So I have $115,000 in DLO. And the upside opportunity, I think, is pretty good. Let me see. Again, run the math. Use the calculator, guys, because my returns are not yours. If I jump over here, I'm using my cost basis. If I remember, I'll put it in for today's. But do this stuff yourself. I'm trying to teach people to fish. I don't want to have to feed you every day. So DLO, my cost basis is cheap. It's 43 cents a contract for January 2026. So I'll put that in here. Did it get the contract in here? I think it did. So, and I have a few of them. 2,450 contracts that can get me 100 shares apiece. How many shares is that? 245,000. Probably more than I want. But, this didn't update, though. It didn't update. Let me just make sure. For some reason, it didn't update. So what was the DLO? $35. Oh, maybe I didn't select it. $35. And my contracts were 0.43. Okay, here we go. And then what do I think this thing can go to? Let me just look real quick. I think, again, I've got these for January 2026. I mean, there's a possibility that we fill the 45. Let's just be real. The forward PE on this, guys, what is this thing at for DLO? And again, run this for yourself. This is my entry, not what you would get today. I can maybe pull that up too. So the forward PE on this company is 20. I think that's pretty low. They've got a lot of growth. Let's look at estimates here. Their estimates show continued growth. And what markets are they in? They're in Brazil, Mexico, Nigeria, Africa, Asia, Latin America, Argentina, Chile, and Egypt. Argentina especially is one I think could grow a lot. Argentina was 26 last quarter. Before that, it was 20.5. Before that, it was 13. Before that, it was 10. So Argentina alone could set this fucker off. I don't know. We'll see if drags on Africa and other places could hurt it. But I think the whole market can go up. So let's put the 45. Let's do the 45. Just put that as our max down here and see what kind of numbers we could get over the next year with DLO. Bell in 3 minutes. Bell in 2 minutes. Going to have to jump over. Well, this is weird. It's all shrunk up. Oh, there isn't something right here. December. Oh, okay. 1 second. We'll get to this. I'll get back to the bell really quick. Really quick. 0.43. The math was close, so it threw me off. So let's say by September, we get up. So this is a 10x. This is a 10x the underlying. This is the kind of stuff I like, guys. 277% in gains get you 2,800% in returns. This is why I like asymmetric bets. So my $105,000 could turn into $3 million if we go up 270%. And if we don't do that, and let's just say in the short term here, this does have a wicked curve. Let's say we get up to like 20, I get 400% off 100%. I'm probably going to bail. With the yellow. Can we look at APP stock next? Maybe. I was for the very beginning.
Upgrade to overweight, $200 price target. Now, normally, David, after this kind of run been going on, this is how you get a stock to this level. And what you have to start thinking is maybe it was worth 300 all along.
43
cents. Totally mispriced.
It's not much different than
this
today.
Market is incredibly overvalued, and I think that the bull case is absolutely. It should
when
never.
This company came public, as you well recall, and you were very positive on it. To your credit, it hadn't made money in 20 years. The company.
No, but I liked what Steve Huffman's doing. I think he's done a great job, and for that, you get a stock that is.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
guys, DLO is nuts, but look at the curve on it, too, and look what happens if it trades sideways. You will lose a shit ton of money.
This year.
400%.
Yeah, so, Carl, Reddit, another stock that no one wants to part with. That is the theme for December. Please don't part with me.
Let's get a look at this opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange at the big.
All right, let's look at the big board today. I can't imagine David Portnoy and Michael Saylor talking. I can see a lot of size coming from Michael Saylor because Portnoy, I don't know. He definitely doesn't understand Bitcoin. We're getting a lot of alerts right now. What is going off? SoFi. Oh, relative strength. Got a lot of tickers that are triggering here. I might have to kill them. On Square, on SoFi. So Bit Digital, guys. This is the... Oh, wait. No, that was from the other day. Let me resort. BABA up 7% is the leader today. That's frightening. Let me resort again. Palantir. Ooh, Palantir already retracing. It was up like 8% in pre-market. Now it's up 4.68. VIX is up a little bit today. Silver's up. Not a great sign for risk on. It might be a little bouncy today. Hang Seng up 2.76. Everybody seems to be spending money in China. Tesla was up 2.44, but that just switched to 1.84. ARKG 1.78. US Oil 1.54. ARGT up. I don't know. Market's looking all right. Market's looking probably like it wants to continue. Palantir up 5.27% now, so it's starting to scream a little bit. Jesse, BofA Securities just upgraded YPF, a big Argentinian gas and oil company, to a buy from neutral. YPF, let's look at that. I am all about finding more plays in Argentina. Oh, I might have to do this, though. Make a copy. YPF. Yeah, then we'll have to look at their finances if we can see them. Your PayPal calls are close to strike. Yep. That's the goal. YPF. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this one's already went up a lot. This is one where I'd rather be involved in a fund right now in Argentina because I'm just not in the country. Yeah, China did. I would still not touch China at all. And but the fiscal fire hose will help pump a lot of stuff, I think. Let me move this back up. So YPF is just up a shit ton, dude. It's up so much. And again, it's up off the 200 moving monthly average now. This thing has went up. I don't know. I can't. Yeah. Well, this is 2022, but from 276 to 40. And again, it could continue to go higher. My worry about this is this a service play? Is this a service play or is it a production play where they're pulling this stuff out of the ground? Because if Trump does try and lower prices a lot, and he'll probably work with Argentina to do it, That could lower the cost like per barrel of the stuff they're getting out, right? Down 10% on huge compared to other miners. Interesting. Value Maxi, your PayPal cards are close to. Oh yeah, okay, saw that. Can you show how you set a price target alert in TradingView? You just right click, add alert at whatever level you're at, and then I set it to every time because I want to hear each time it's hitting that price target. And so when people ask about my targets on my chart in the Discord too, I will make them like here's a previous high. I'm going to make that a target. I'm going to make this a target. Any fib levels, trend lines. You could take the actual line and make that into a target. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Advice on options. I don't give advice, but let me see what I can say here. Do not go all in right away. Scale and purchase on dips. Can follow a DCA strategy with various states, etc. Yeah, that's a good. Again, just take options slowly and learn them. I know people don't like learning stuff. They'd rather just have quick answers to everything and like here go to moon. But you should probably be somewhat conservative. Square is giving me an alert here. Is Square going up or down? Let's check the heat map. I got to see how. I want to see what sectors are doing today. Nvidia getting crushed because, again, that monopoly news. Tesla up 2.71% on the day. Congratulations to all Tesla holders. Palantir up a shit ton too. 4% now it looks like, right around that 80 level. Again, this is going to be a tough nut to crack on Palantir, guys. It can go up, but damn, it's going to be hard. Even with good news, eventually. You can't, like when you get $37 million contracts, you can't necessarily justify a $10 billion increase in valuation. Even though it's a good deal, it's great that they're getting more contracts. Jesse, you think CleanSpark will go for bond conversion? I don't know. And I don't really care. Why don't I care? Because I have a bunch of money in MicroStrategy. I have a bunch of money in Mara. I have a bunch of money in CleanSpark, Iron, Bitfarms. I have some in Cypher. And I have a bunch of shit coins. And I'm probably going to be looking at IBIT calls. Tesla's up 3% now, guys. Sweet. Woo woo. I'm probably going to be looking at, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm probably going to be looking at IBIT calls too. So I'll make a members only video about what I find there, because if we get some big drops in Bitcoin for any reason, I want to be able to have, to buy. So I really don't care if they do it. Yeah, that's the hope. I think the big hope right now is a QQQ rebalancing. But here's the deal. Like, eventually the things aren't going to help anymore. Eventually they're not going to help Palantir anymore. And it's probably going to be a sell the news event. Like you can only go parabolic so long. Does that make sense to investors? That parabola will eventually stop. I think the Tesla Q is going to be real, maybe. Let's go to that real quick. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. So let's look at this real quick here. I think it's real. It's coming from a lot of big accounts. Let's see here real quick. So again, Tesla Model Q to debut in its first half of 2025 at sub $30,000. Tesla announced an investor meeting with Deutsche Bank its plans to launch an affordable sub $30,000 vehicle, benchmarking the BYD Dolphin, the Volkswagen ID3. So it seems pretty real. For Tesla, DXYZ halted for volatility. Nice. But for Tesla, if we just look over here in the Chinese market, it's kind of interesting. Chinese market reported 73,490 sales, 3% market share in November. BEV penetration reaches a new record at 31.3%, and Tesla now has 9.7% of the segment. It's got a bunch of other numbers that are interesting in here too. Tesla sales in China per quarter, month over month. What I find interesting in China, third month does better and better. Or at least Q3 it looks like is getting better. Q4s are pretty good. So we're seeing some trend higher here. And again, we should see it over here too as well for Q3. But it is slowing with China. I think that's clear, right? You know why that's clear? Because if we look over here, if If we look over here and pull up this other chart, look at 2024 versus 2023 in China. You can see China slowing, guys. You can see their market slowing. It's not going to matter for Tesla because Tesla can always export to other parts of the world that are willing to buy. But it's slowing. It's definitely slowing. Pepe trading like it knows BTC has bottomed. Or Pepe. I don't know if it's doing that or not. I mean, again, yeah, it's going up. It's like the one. It's like there's three. There's Floki, there's Peep. There's like a couple that are doing okay. But for the most part, altcoins are not doing as well today. I think that's pretty clear. But yeah, so Tesla sales in China are slowing. We're looking at a $25,000 car on top of the Cybercab from the sounds of it. And I think, who was it? Peggy? Yeah, right here. Says, breaking Tesla to launch affordable models first half of 2025. 15% smaller, 30% lighter than the Model 3. And if it's anything like the Cybercab, I was listening to them talk about the Cybercab. They said with the Cybercab that it will have 50% less parts. So if this thing's 15% smaller and 30% lighter than the Model 3, it could have a great part reduction too. Range of 500 kilometers is pretty big too. Expected overseas price $25,000. I think that's all great. Everybody's talking about it. I think it's real. And this too. Look at this, guys. Look at the aerodynamics of a BYD Seal, or the Xiaomi or whatever SU7. This is like the Porsche looking one that they have. And look at the Model 3. Just look at how different the airflow is and how much better it is. Isn't that insane? Just visibly insane, the differences between it. FSD 13. Let's just look at this, guys. Look at this. This is why we own this company, okay? Look at this. Just watch this. Look at what this car can do. It is, so they press the button. It's backing up. It backed up some more. It's trying to turn and get around this UPS truck stuck in the middle of the fucking road. It's backing up a little bit more. And then these things are, look at that. Whoa, that's funny as shit. So it didn't back up more. It still has room to get around this thing. Are you serious? It does. It's creeping out to make sure that nobody comes around head on. And it's making its turn. It's trying to make sure it doesn't hit it with the side of the car. And it goes. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. And somebody said, how can you short a company with these lineups? That Yaman guy, is he real? Is he not joking? Like, why would you short this? Especially if they're adding another car into the mix. I don't know. How is he doing? Is he even alive today? I hope he is. What do you want to bet his account? What is his name again? There he is. He's falling down in the ranks because nobody's paying attention to him anymore. 40,000 followers. That'll probably go down even more. Let's see what his last post is. 16 minutes ago. Gary Black is right. Targeted harassment and intimidation campaigns pushed by certain Tesla influencers is a real problem with potentially extreme consequences. Yeah, okay. I asked X to drop my subscription price to $5 a month shortly after X made it possible to change the amount. After the new price is implemented, Tesla Live Spaces will be open to the public for $30. Dude, do you want to know what he did, what he was charging in this? Let's look at what he was charging on this. So he's asked them to drop it to $5. He originally had it at $240. So this guy has went from $5 or $240 to $5. Wow. Jesse, did you see the video from AI Driver when the Tesla was on the highway, saw a car swerving far behind him in the other lane, and then the Tesla FSD moved over to be safe? I'm not surprised. It is so. AI Driver has some of the best videos out there, guys. Really, really good stuff. Oh, this is the video where they talk about 50% less parts. It's just like, we're going to make so much money, guys. Look at this. Today, Tesla's still up 2.4%. We're going to do really good off of Tesla, I think. I think it's going to do really great. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin if it can continue to go higher. It looks like it's bouncing a little bit. Let me look real quickly to see how the miners are doing with that bounce. Let me just sort here. Maybe they're not doing great because everybody's jumping to China. That can happen. ARKG's up 3%. PayPal's up 2%. Wow. 6 months in, Jesse, you've taught me to fish. That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, Freedom. So ARGT up, ARKG up almost 3%. I love seeing that. PayPal up 2.24%. Seems like the Tesla, PayPal, ARKG, DLO, like these are going to be the plays that are performing really good in the short term. Hood is taking a breather. Lots of stuff taking a breather today, guys. S&P's down. NASDAQ is down. Probably the RUT is down. TLT is down. Bitfarms down 0.7%. MSTX down 1%. Bitcoin down 1.58. Miners aren't too bad, though. They're not too bad. Shitcoins are getting it worse. SoFi down 4.4%. Again, great run in that. I think Palantir will start to look like SoFi soon. It just has to. I mean, it doesn't have to, but it should. Jesse is great at catching that walleye. I try to. If you're going to catch a fish, catch a big one. LW Crypto, FSD can see what we can't. Like the UPS truck, it knows there is no vehicle coming for a while. Yeah, dude, it's brilliant. It's really brilliant, and it's going to do really, really well. I think today could be another good day in markets, guys. I'm expecting another 6-figure in upside potential. And maybe even again tomorrow too. Light on data. Nothing is scary. I could totally see more upside. Oh, let's see here. What else to talk about? It's 8:45. I feel like I'm trying to make these shorter. Let's get through the news. Let's see if there's anything else we want to talk about. I think that's it for Tesla. Tesla doubles down on 1,000 Powerwalls in a day. Tesla's NVIDIA or Nevada Gigafactory just smashed its own record, cranking out 1,000 Powerwall units in a single day, double its previous output. Insane. Sounds like it's from the perspective of forgetting that Tesla already went to a P ratio of 1,400, and that was before the robots. It's interesting to me that somebody like Holy Smokas could be really bullish about like Palantir, something that's went up over 1,200 or whatever percent. What are we even at in Palantir right now, guys? What are we fucking at? It's a lot, right? Was it 1,600 now? I can't even remember. No, 1,250%. It's how could you be super bullish on Palantir when it's up 1,250%, but you can't be bullish on Tesla when it's got a lower forward PE ratio and it's just breaking through. It's getting close to its all-time high again. I don't get it. And one thing to caution, guys, we could take a break on Tesla for a little bit because it's nearing its all-time high. So if there was ever a time, it could take a break around that. And I might still sell some today. I've got a bunch of bills I want to pay off at the beginning of the year. So if I'm doing it, I'm going to be selling some of it for that. What are we up today in the calls? I don't even know. All right. Anyway, I think I might be done for the day. Oh, I got a special thing, though. I got a new video I want to play. It's about Bitcoin getting to 100K. It's probably going to get me demonetized. Hopefully it doesn't strike the video. We'll see. I don't think so. But it's fucking hilarious. It's LMFAO, but sorry for Bitcoin hodling, and it's got a bunch of OGs in the space. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. And you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow and see you guys on X.